You know, guys, I don't know if y'all watched or even watching the Democratic National Convention the last couple of days. It's a total clown show. I mean, a total clown show. You got Democrats laughing at them. You got these famous movie stars making cracks at it, saying it's a disaster. You know, these Democratic supporters are making fun of it, saying it was a disaster. It was a total disaster. I mean, they didn't, the views were like the lowest it's ever been. Not very many people watched it. I only watched clips of it from the news. I didn't watch the actual event. I have no need to watch it because they're all idiots. The Democratic Party's done. That party's done. They might as well count their losses and move on. Trump's got this election in a bag now. I mean, have you seen this? Biden and that Kamala Harris are jokes. They're jokes. They don't know what the hell they're going to do. They're idiots. The views on that convention were the lowest in history. You know, Timcast on YouTube had more views than them last night. He had like 529,000, maybe more, and they only had like 50-some thousand views. Go figure. I don't know, folks. People are starting to open their eyes to these Democrats, and you got a lot of people walking away from the Democrats on all races, you know, just not just one, it's all races. And they're just walking away. They're fed up with them, they're done with them, they're stupid. They know that the Democratic Party's in chaos. They know that they're not doing anything for the country. Everything that Trump does, they do the opposite. And then if Trump says something that they agree with, then they disagree with it. So they're back and forth. That's what I said. If Trump would say, oh, yeah, they need to wear masks. Yeah, this is serious. And the Democrats, oh, no, it's not serious. You know, Nancy Pelosi already did that once. Trump said it was serious. Nancy said it wasn't. Then when Trump says it's not serious, Nancy says it is serious. But, yeah, Nancy Pelosi needs to go. She needs to go to jail is what she needs. All them people do. Ain't doing nothing but stealing from you, and you guys, we're sitting back letting it happen. They take your tax dollars, fill their pockets while you're out there practically breaking every bone in your body just to make a living. Takes everything you've got to pay your bills. They live high on hog off of your tax dollars. Yeah. I don't know, guys, but there's a couple videos I'm going to show you. And I don't know if it's crazy how these Democrats are doing things. Stopping Trump at every corner. They stopped his stimulus package, so if you was expecting that check, might as well forget it for a while. Probably not going to happen till after the elections, if it even happens then. It might happen before, but I don't know. I doubt it. They did pass a small stimulus. Trump put through a small stimulus bill for unemployment and things like that, but he's not helping the average American person. And I think that's a mistake on his part. But, you know, that's up to you to decide. And anyway, I just wanted to jump in here and just show you a couple of videos real quick of stuff that's going on today. Democrats are disagreeing with the convention. They say it's a disaster. Democratic Party a disaster. And Nancy Pelosi is a disaster. Kamala Harris is a far left crazy bat, along with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. There's something wrong with that dude too. Man, I thought he was better than that. Anyway, let you watch these videos.
Thought. Let's find out what a Democrat thought. Joining us to continue the discussion about the DNC last night, former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Governor, tell me what you thought. What was your big takeaway?
Well, my big takeaway was I was away for a long time, sheltering in place for 8 years, and I learned a couple of things. Like, when that happens, the world keeps spinning around. They take you out of the world, it doesn't stop, and things change. And boy, I'll tell you, I didn't recognize the Democratic Party I was once a member of. I still consider myself a Democrat, but a Democrat in the John F. Kennedy mold, and not a Democrat in the Bernie Sanders mold. And it seems to me that today's Democratic Party has a conflict. In fact, the ideological soul of the party is now Bernie Sanders and socialism. And when he talked about the Democrats and embracing his ideas, and this now has become the mainstream of the Democratic Party. Well, that's not a Democratic Party that I grew up in. It's not a Democratic Party that really represents the middle class and the vast majority of hardworking people who want to be able to have a chance to get ahead. Socialism has never succeeded. It's always failed. It's a philosophy of failure and a gospel of envy. And the Democrats, who used to be the party that looked after the working man and gave him a chance to become part of the middle class, working men and women today have an alternative, and it's frankly President Trump who's realigning politics, and he's changing the Republican Party. That's also changed. The Republican Party of Donald Trump is not the Republican Party that I knew of when I left home 8 years ago. It's very different, and he's speaking to constituencies that I used to represent as a Democratic congressman and a Democratic governor, working people, men and women who go to work every day, who want to get ahead, who are supporting their kids, wanting to get to college, and they want a chance to move ahead in the race of life and enjoy the American dream by living a good, solid, middle class, upper middle class life, or even going beyond that and realizing their dreams. That Democratic Party I saw last night is not a party that promises dreams. It's a party that wants to just be angry and tear things down.
You know, Governor, we saw a lot of different speakers last night. Who do you think got too much time and who should have had more?
Well, I found it very interesting that Governor Kasich was there. And I thought it was very interesting that Governor Kasich, a former Republican governor from a big Midwestern state, and I got to be careful here. I don't throw too many stones because I live in a glass house myself. I'm a former Democratic governor from a big Midwestern state. I'm a Trumpocrat today. Kasich has obviously joined the Democratic Party, or at least is supporting Biden. But what I found really striking about that was that he basically was saying, his pitch was basically, don't be worried about the extreme left wing of the Democratic Party. In other words, don't be concerned about Bernie Sanders. And then right after he gets done speaking, Bernie Sanders gets up there and talks about how his philosophy, the socialist philosophy, is now the mainstream of the Democratic Party. So Governor Kasich was basically saying that Joe Biden is lying to Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders indicated that he had full discussions with Joe Biden about his agenda, and the two of them are on the same page. I took that as something that I thought was very interesting, and it really kind of shows the divisions in the Democratic Party and how they're really not putting forth a unified message. They're trying to put together coalitions, and they're trying to appease that Bernie Sanders AOC wing of the party where all the energy is. That's their philosophical base, to try to keep the old constituencies of the Democratic Party in that tent, working people and African Americans who, frankly, because of Biden, the Clinton administration, and others, we saw jobs leave America, and we saw the mass incarceration of African American men, and it took a Republican, frankly, Donald Trump, to begin the process of rectifying those injustices.
You know, it's interesting you keep bringing this up. I thought it was something, what Bernie Sanders said last night is so intriguing. He said, when I talked about a lot of these ideas 4 years ago, they were considered radical. Now they're mainstream. That to me was sort of the signal that's the mainstream. I get your point, Governor, that this is not the party of John F. Kennedy anymore. This is the party that says all that socialism stuff, that's mainstream. But it was interesting. I mentioned to Lindsay at the top of the show, that the ratings came out and they're now well in excess of half of what they were last cycle, down to 5 million people watching it over 3 of the major networks. Most conventions are an opportunity for the ticket to get a bump. Do you think that they're going to get a bump coming out of this convention?
Well, if the convention ended today, I think they're going to not get a bump. It depends on what happens over the next several days. It is very different, and the circumstances are different. But if we can base an answer on one night, I would say no bump whatsoever. In fact, in my mind, I think middle America watches this, and I think middle America, with many of my fellow Democrats, are saying this is not a party that speaks to me, and I think they're going to express that on election day. You know, it's the vast middle that decides these elections. It's going to be people in places like in the battleground states, that vast middle. The extreme left is, of course, with the Democratic Party. But if I'm one of those voters in those battleground states, and I can go either way between a Democrat or a Republican, it's middle America that decides the election. And they're not going to vote for a new generation of Vladimir Lenin, you know, a Bolshevik kind of political process and political philosophy. They're going to vote for the candidate that's out there most importantly fighting for the issues that are most important to them. And the two big issues in my mind are the economy, who's best capable of bringing the economy back. President Trump has a proven track record of success already. And then the other issue, which I think middle America is watching, and they're not really saying too much, the great silent majority, but they're seeing what's happening in places like Chicago and in Seattle and in Portland, Oregon. They're seeing the lawlessness and the chaos, and they're recoiling from it. And last night, the Democrats, again, the Democrats of John Kennedy and Mayor Richard J. Daley would never be tolerating that kind of violence in the streets. But today's Democrats, led by Biden, who's really a captive of the left wing of his party, they're afraid even to defend the police. In fact, what they're trying to do is to defund the police. They won't even condemn the violence that's taking place in my hometown of Chicago, in Seattle, and in Portland. And I think that says a lot. So if I'm a middle-the-road voter in Pennsylvania and Ohio and other places across America, I'm seeing that Democratic Party, and I'm saying they don't speak to me.
That's right. Governor, thank you for providing us your take. Look forward to touching base with you soon and seeing where we are, whether or not they got that bump or not.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you, Lindsay, for having me.